Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about a few new features for Business Central 2022 release with one. So you can browse to this URL, then go to what's new and planned to see what are included in this release. And so you could see it covers the application and also the development and governance administration, Power Platform, modern clients. So I will just pick up a few features there, which is available on my Docker container for this version, version 20 of Business Central. And as of April the 1st, so this release is available. And so the first one I want to talk about is the fixed quantity in production bill of materials. So this feature, if you click on this link, then it will bring you to the exact description of this feature. You could see Microsoft added a new option to the calculation formula on the production BOM. And this calculation formula is the fixed quantity. Okay, so what this fixed quantity does is, if you know how the calculation formula works, it's like on the production BOM. So let me use example here as so to explain. So on the production BOM, then you can set up different calculation formula. So let's take this as example. So this production BOM SP-BOM 2000. So you can see for the calculation formula, if you click on the drop-down list, on this version is the version 20, which is for the 2022 release one, the 2022 release with one, and then the version 20 you could see here. And so in this version, you could see the calculation formula has this fixed quantity added. But in the earliest version, so in this version is a previous version, which is the version 19.5. If you look at in this version and go to the production BOM, this option is not available. So let's go to the production BOM for any of them. Then if you go to the calculation formula, then you could see what is available is only these a few options, but it doesn't have the fixed quantity. So that fixed quantity, actually, it's allowed you to have the quantity per order instead of the quantity per item. So for example, previously, like if you are in the food industry, then you manufacture the oatmeals. And for the oatmeals, let's say if it's a 500 kilograms is in one pallet, right? So if you have a production order of 300 kilograms, then this batch, if you calculate, if 500 kilograms is in one pallet, then 300 kilograms will be in 0.6 pallet. And then you may have a production order and it's ended up with 0.6 pallet. But how can you divide one pallet into 0.6 pallet? That's a problem, right? So no matter for the production order, you produce like 300 kilograms or 200 kilograms, whatever is under 500 kilograms, then with this new feature, it allows you to use 1 kilogram instead of like you have to once you calculate per pallet based on the kilograms, then you may end up with decimal places for the pallet, and which is not in the real world. You can have decimal places for the pallet, right? So that's how this works. And if you know how the calculation formula works, it's based on like the quantity per and the calculation formula. So in this example, if you define a length of 2, then the expected quantity on the production order will be calculated as the length times the quantity per. That will be your expected quantity. So for in this example, if we create a production order for this, then I can show you how that works. So you remember the length right now is 2 and the quantity per right now is 1, right? So if we just create a production order for an item which has this production BOM, so for my item, there's a make to order item 1038 which is using this production BOM. So then I'm just gonna create the production order item for this. Then let's say I need a quantity of 10. Then let's refresh my production order. Then after I refresh my production order, then you can see how it's calculated. So you can either go to your production order components, or you can go to the production journal to see it. So let's go to the production journal to take a look, right? So on the production journal, if you select all methods, then you will see everything. So for this item, which is the item consumption, so let me see, 1039 consumption, the chain. Okay, so for this item, if we go back to our BOM, production BOM, then the one we defined, the length is for this item 1040, right? So if we look at this 1040 in the production journal, for this item, we cannot see the consumption quantity. That's because my flushing method is gonna auto flush. So I cannot use this production journal to show you. But if you have it defined as manual, then you will see it. So let's go to the components. If we go to the components, then we can see the expected quantity calculated, right? So the expected quantity calculated is 20. So because I put in, so maybe it's easier, let's just put in the quantity 1 on the production order, so it makes it more easier for you to see the results. So because on my production BOM, in order to produce 1 of the finished goods, I need the quantity per, which is 1 times that length 2, which will need 2, okay? So let's refresh this production order again, then you will see how that's calculated. So now we go to the production order component line, then we can see, so it will require expected quantity is 2. How this 2 is calculated is based on the length times the quantity per, that equals to 2, right? Okay, so that's how the calculation formula is in action, how it's used. Then let's go to our Business Central version 20 for this one. So we have this production BOM, and it's defined as a fixed quantity, which means no matter how many you are produced when you enter the production order, and it will end up as it will consume 1 of this item as P-BOM 2004. Okay, so we have an item which is the same number as this BOM. If we go to create a released production order, then we can see the results here. And so let's create a new production order here and put in this item number. So this is my finished good item number, and then I just need 1 for now, just to be able to show you clearly how that works. Okay. So then after we refresh the production order, so we'll just go to the production order component line and take a look of the expected quantity. So for this one, for this item 2004, and the expected quantity is 1, right? So now we're gonna refresh our production order again, but we're gonna change the quantity to 10. So because we have that fixed quantity defined, so it doesn't matter what's the finished good quantity I change here, then that consumption expected quantity will be still 1 for that item. So let's refresh our production order again, okay? Then see the results. So let's go to our production order component line again and take a look. So you see for the other items, and the expected quantity has been changed, but only for this item is still 1. Let's change to something like, let's change to 50, and then refresh this production order, okay? And then let's take a look again. So you could see for other items, the expected quantity has been changed. Only for this item, the expected quantity is still 1. So that's how this fixed quantity in the production BOM works, because it's based on the order. It's not based on the item anymore, okay? If it's based on the item, then it's like the other items on the consumption, the component lines, that expected quantity will be changed. But because it's based on order, so this number for the expected quantity does not change according to the production order number, production order quantity you entered. It doesn't change with that. Okay. And so, and also for this one, if you enter a scrap quantity on the production BOM, then it will ignore the scrap percent you enter here when you refresh the production order. So this scrap percent is not relevant anymore. And also, if you go to your item list, let's go to our item list and just find this item, this 2000. Okay, so it's a SP-BOM 2000. This is the item. If we find this item and go to the 3-dot related and go to availability by, so availability by, we have a BOM level. So if we select this, then you will see there's a available quantity, and also there's a quantity per parent. So if your available quantity is less than the quantity per parent, then it will show it as a bottleneck. But somehow this function doesn't seem to work properly, so it just marked this item, this 2001, as a bottleneck, but it didn't mark this item as a bottleneck. But you could see all these items here from 2001 to 2004, they all have a negative inventory. So in theory, it should mark all these three. But this one, it didn't mark. But that's another feature Microsoft want to do for this fixed quantity. It's like if your available quantity is less than the quantity per parent, then it will mark it as a bottleneck. Okay, and also regarding the cost calculation, it based on your item card. If on the item card there's a lot size, because the lot size is if you look at the lot size, then on this item I have lot size 10 defined here, but that's in base unit measure, which means for each of your batch you're gonna produce 10 of this item in the base unit measure, which is piece. So then that will affect your cost calculation, because depends on the lot size you filled in here. So the cost is calculated by divide this lot size. Then it will, because everything on the item card is in the base unit measure. The cost is also in the base unit measure. But if you on your production BOM, the lot size is different. It's not 1. Then it has to divide this lot size to calculate your unit cost. Okay, so that's for this feature. And so for the next feature I want to discuss is the enhancements to Microsoft Teams. So in this feature, and what is added is like it will give you show you the more details when a link is copied. So previously, if you copy a link from Business Central, it will only show the plain text for the link. But now, like any other features in Teams, like if you copy a link from internet, then on Teams it will show you a detail card, then you can preview it. And so by this enhancement, so what added is like when you copy a link from your Business Central, then it will show you the detailed card. And then if you don't have Business Central app installed on your Teams, it will ask you to install the Business Central app. And then you can click on Show Preview and to see the details of this card you shared, of this link you shared. Okay, so let me go to, but this will only work if you are on Business Central SaaS. Like if you are on Business Central premise, if you share a link, then it will not. It will just still a plain text. So I'm gonna go to my Teams and then just show you how this works. And then I will copy a link from my Business Central, and I will use my Business Central SaaS tenant because like I said, my Docker container will not work because that's Business Central on-premise. So even in this version, Business Central 19.5, this feature already worked. So then we can see that from here. Okay, So let's go to any of there's a different ways to share a link in Business Central, but what this feature talk about, if you just copy the link from the URL, so then it will, so let's go to an item card, then let's just copy this link from my address bar and then put it in my Teams, okay? So let's click on new conversation and then just send this. And while you are sending this, then you could see it just give you added item card. It just give you this. So what you can do is like you can click on this link, then it will open up your Business Central. And okay, but like you can see on my Teams, there's also some other stuff here than I shared earlier. So you could see, and it's gonna show you a card with the picture, item description, and the details. And if you click on the details, then it will bring you to Business Central. So previously, if you look at this description for this feature, you could see Microsoft added the pop-up button as well. And the pop-up button is just, when you click on the details, actually it's just open the Business Central app in Teams. But previously, if there's another button, so actually if you look at my Teams, and so for the testing I have done on the March the 3rd, I still have this pop-up button. But when Microsoft released this feature on the April the 1st release, it just they removed this button for the pop-up. You could see that this has been removed. This pop-up button has been removed just to give you a better experience. So what this pop-up button does is like it's just gonna open it in the browser. So I'll show you the difference. If you click on the details button, you could see it opens the Business Central app in your Teams. But if you click on pop-up button, then you can see it's just open another browser tab on your browser, right? So even it's opening the same card, but it's just open it in a different way. So in order to give you a better experience, then when Microsoft did release this feature, you could see my test on this day, April the 2nd, then they removed that pop-up button, okay? And okay, so that's how that works. And another feature I want to talk about is go back to our Excel spreadsheet. So this is the allow security administrator to define the default permission set when assign the user when the user sign up. Okay, so what it does is like in Business Central, and so this is my Business Central SaaS tenant. And if you go to the users, then you could see when you get the users, then let's say update users from Microsoft 365. So in this version 19.5, it doesn't have a button for you to configure the license configuration. It doesn't have that option there. But let's go back to my version 20 here. So in this version, if you go to the users, then when you go to the users, then if you click on the update users from Microsoft 365, you could see there's this link is added, which says configure permissions per license. Then if you click on this link, it brings you to the license configuration page. And then you can highlight a license. So these are all the different kinds of license for Business Central. So you can highlight a license and then click on configure, right? And then you can click on edit, then you can customize this. You can customize this permission set. You can add a new permission instead. Okay, then you have to say customize permissions, turn this on, and then you will be able to add a new permission. Okay, so let's just close it. After you change it, then on this list, then this permissions customized checkbox will be checked. And then when you add a new user, then you can just assign them that license. Then it automatically will entitle your customized permission sets for that user. Okay, so and another way for you to access this instead of from the users, then you just go to your license configuration. You just search by this and you are able to configure your license from here. So this is the second way. You can go there directly by searching, or you can switch your role to there's a specific role built for that, for administration of users, user groups, and permissions. If you switch to this role, then if you go to your role center, then you could see on the top navigation you have these plans. You can click on plans, then it will also bring you to the license configuration. Then you can just select. You can just, so this is this same as the license configuration, but on the top you don't see anything like you can configure this. But this is a list of your plans available, the different license available in your tenant. Okay, and so that's different ways. Then you can navigate to those license configuration and the plans. And so for the next feature I want to talk about is updating only licensed user from Microsoft 365. So this, because if I go back to my Business Central version, this is 19.5, right? So if you click on next, you're gonna update your users from Microsoft 365. Then you see this takes quite long to run because Business Central is gonna retrieve the number of users, then retrieve the Business Central users. So the users on your Microsoft 365, which has a Business Central license, it has to do two steps. It's gonna retrieve your Microsoft 365 all the users from there first. And so for a large organization, if you have thousands of users, then it takes long to finish this run, right? And for the Business Central version 20, in this new release, so what you can do, you can still go to your users and then update users from your Microsoft 365, but then it only just gonna retrieve all the users on your Microsoft 365 which has a Business Central license assigned. If the users does not have the Business Central license, it's not gonna retrieve that user at all. So because my this Business Central is a Docker container, it's not Business Central SaaS. So for me, if I run this will error out. But like what it really does at that time in this version is like it's only gonna retrieve the users with a Business Central license assigned on Microsoft 365. It's not gonna retrieve all the users from your Microsoft 365. Okay, so then it makes the time to run that process to be shorter. It will be faster and more efficient. So yeah, so for the next feature is for the copy link from share menu, and this copy link from the share menu is so you know this is designed for because previously that you have that share button. So if I go to my Business Central here, so this is Business Central version 20. If you go to any entity list, like I'm going to my customer list, you have this share button here, right? And when you click on this, previously you only have open in Excel and share to teams, but with this Business Central version, you have a copy link. You have this added, copy link added. So if you go to my Business Central, this version 19.5, then if you click on that, so you have share to teams, but you don't have copy link. So, but in this version, it added that copy links. Okay, so with this copy links, and even if you go to the feature description, even like you are using an app, and so sometimes you may use an app, then the app is it could be a Business Central app, like you installed a Business Central app like this, right? You download it from Microsoft Store and installed on your computer. Or you can be like Business Central in Teams. So if I install Business Central app in my Teams, it's embedded in my Teams, right? So if in those apps, you cannot, if I go to my Business Central apps, because you cannot access the address bar to copy the link, then it will be easier, like if you're on a specific page, then it provides you the option to copy the link. So this copy link feature is specifically designed for the apps. So like you hear, like this is my Business Central app, you see it doesn't have an address bar URL. I can copy the URL. So that's why it will be easier, like if you are on the entity list and anywhere in Business Central which has this share button, then if you have a copy link available, then it will work. But because this app is connected to my Business Central version 19.5, so you don't see this. But if I do have this app connected to my version 20, then you will see that copy link. Okay, so because my Business Central version, which has the 20 installed, is a Docker container, it didn't roll up to my Business Central SaaS tenant yet, so I cannot really show you that. But that's the purpose. If you are in the app, then it's better to add that copy link so it's available. Otherwise, then only when you are in the browser interface, then you will have that, you can copy from the address bar. But if you are in the app, because there's no address bar, so it's easier, like you can copy the link from the share. So I can copy this link. Then I can do the same. I can go to my Teams and share this link. Okay, so that's it. And that's for this feature. And another feature I want to talk about is this new desktop app delivering full web client experience on desktop. Is listed in this Microsoft Store. So what is this does? If you go to the Microsoft Store, if you go to the Microsoft Store and then you search by Business Central, there are two apps you can see here right now. Okay, so Business Central. Okay, so there's a one legacy app. So this one, which has a darker green. Then this icon is for the legacy app. If you click on this, then it just tells you this is the legacy desktop app, and that app is based on the UWP, which is the Windows, the Universal Windows Platform. Okay, and it's an old technology. And with this new icon, this icon with a light green, this icon is for the new app. This app is based on the technology of the progressive, you could see here, progressive web app technology. But you could see there's a bracket which says online, which means this app is only available for the Business Central SaaS version. You can only connect to this app to the Business Central SaaS version. And if you are having both on-premise and SaaS, and Microsoft left the legacy app to still enable you to connect to the Business Central on-premise. So if we go, so what I have to do to show you the difference, I have to uninstall these two apps. I'm just gonna uninstall these two Business Central apps. So instead of uninstall, I'm just gonna show you quickly. Because what it does is like whatever last time you log in with, it just remember it. So I don't want to log in with my Business Central SaaS tenant. I want to show you how the interface looks like. Then I have to uninstall it. So I'm just gonna show you. Maybe even like in the previous release, you don't know how to connect to Business Central on-premise. So I just uninstalled one, and then I'm gonna uninstall another one. Okay, so this one, uninstall this one. Okay, then I'm gonna quickly install it from my Microsoft Store again. So so for the legacy app, if I click on install, because Microsoft still left this legacy app to connect to on-premise. And the new app is only to connect to Business Central SaaS tenant for online. So if you still want to have a desktop app connect to your on-premise, then you still need to install the legacy app. So let's open this one. then first time you open this, right? Next time it's gonna remember your credentials, then it just automatically log you in. So I don't have the option for this anymore. That's why I have to uninstall and reinstall again. And so if you sign in with your work or school account, then it's gonna connect to your SaaS tenant, Business Central SaaS tenant, but you have this advanced options. As I said, this legacy app is for you to connect to your on-premise. Microsoft left it to still enable you to connect to your on-premise Business Central tenant. So when you click on this on-premises, here you have to put a URL which has the SSL enabled, which is a secure port for me, because I have there's a specific requirement. So even I have a local web client installed, and but that is not internet facing. So you could see I can connect to this web client which has the secure port HTTPS, and I can open it, right? But if I just copy this to my Microsoft, to this app, then put it here, it does allow it. But then if you click on this next button, then it just take time. Then at the end, it will tell you could not connect to the server. The reason is like this URL has to be internet facing. So if you still want to connect to your on-premise Business Central tenant with this app, you have to make sure this URL is internet facing. My URL is only running locally on my local machine. It's not internet facing. And I saw companies who enabled internet facing URL, but they only allow it to specific IP address to connect to that URL for security. So you cannot let your on-premise, other people to access your on-premise Business Central tenant from anywhere in the world, and does not have any restriction, right? It's just for your organization security. Usually you only allow the connection to come from certain IP address. If your employee work from home, you need to ask their public IP at their home, then you can vet that public IP, right? But that's for more security. So, but at the end, so this URL has to be internet facing for you to be able to connect. But this app, legacy app, can allow you to connect to on-premise. And the new app, so we're just gonna connect this one to, no, that just does stop it. And I'm just gonna connect to my new app. For the new app, the Business Central app, I didn't install it from the Microsoft Store yet. That's reinstall it. So this app, Microsoft, for this feature, Microsoft said with this progressive web client technology, they enabled you to be able to multitasking, and then to have the personalization cloud printing experience, same as what you do from the Business Central SaaS tenant on your browser. Because for the multitasking, I don't know what they really mean. If it's just to have a pop-up screen, you can allow you to have a pop-up screen so you can open multiple windows at the same time. I think that feature was available in that legacy app as well. But let's take a look. So let's say if you go to the sales order, and then you open the sales order on the sales line, then you can say pop-up. So you can have another window open up, okay? And then, okay, so you have this window open up. So, and then you can minimize the window, but you see on this app, it doesn't create another, it open another window for this app. In order for you to work on the sales order again, you still have to click on the back button, right? But if it's on the browser, if it's on the browser, but because this is still connecting to my Business Central 19.5, so I wouldn't know yet because I don't have a Business Central SaaS tenant with the version 20. Microsoft didn't roll it out to my tenant yet. So I think that's probably what they mean for the multitasking. And if I have, this is my Business Central version 20. So if I go to my sales order And then if I go to any sales order line, and I click on this pop-up, it should pop up a new window, right? So, but it didn't do that. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, it did it. Okay, so it pop up a new window. So then you can still work on this while you can have the other window. Then you have two windows you can work on. But let's go back to this Business Central app again. Let's take a look. So this is my Business Central app, right? So because we just pressed that button, but we didn't click on. So what it want is like, you see it doesn't have that. Let's see. Oh, it really did it. So it did it. So then we can have another window, but this is also a app window, right? Then pop up. So that's how, I think that's what it means for multitasking. And personalization, I even saw the personalization from the legacy app, so I don't know what it really means for personalization. So it seems like that availability is available even in earlier version, the legacy app. And also the cloud printing. So in this version, with this Business Central app, so let me just go to that Business Central app again. So this one with the, oh, is it installed? Let me see. This is open. Let's open this Business Central app. Okay, so it just opened this Business Central app, the new app. And then for the cloud printing, you could see if you go to the help, is this the new version? So the new version, the look is a little bit different than the old version, and this gear button. Okay, let me see. The settings button should looks a little bit different, but let me just. So this one with the light green is the new app, and this one with the darker green is the older app. So let's open this new app again. And if I click on this question mark, help and support. Okay, so it doesn't have that. Okay, so you could see on my Business Central version 20. So if I look at this version, I could see this gear button is kind of have a different look. And then the question mark, this help, give you more options. Then there's the option for you to set up the printer. So you can set up the universal printer, but you need to have an Azure account created first. So I cannot really show you that, but like in Business Central 20, it doesn't, even in the previous version for 2021 V2 release, 2021 release V2, it has the, you can print from the universal printer from the cloud. There's a universal printer service in the cloud, in Azure you can use. So, but yeah, and then if you go to your dashboard from the help, and it added more features here. Then there's one feature for cloud printing. Cloud printer. Let's see. Okay, printing reports, creating a printer. So I remember when I just opened it, then there's something. When I click on the help, it just tell you there's the configure your cloud printer, but I don't see it here anymore. Okay, so probably based on your navigation where you are, then it just show you more relevant help content here. Yeah, but anyway, so with this new app, the purpose from Microsoft is like it's just you can do the multitasking, you can do the personalization, and it enabled cloud printing similar as your Business Central SaaS tenant. Okay, thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. I hope the information is helpful, and I'll see you guys again next time.